Hey guys, it's Amanda, and as you can see, I am back in my dorm room in New York City. So yeah, I'm really sorry about the sounds. Like, these windows are honestly paper thin. They do not do anything for you sound wise or warmth wise. It's so cold in here. But you know what, I'm here to talk about the classes that I took last semester. A couple of videos ago, some of you guys were asking me to go more in detail with the classes that I took, so I'm going to be doing that in this video. And yeah, let's just get started. So the first class I took was writing the essay Art in the World. This class was essentially a regular NYU class writing the essay that all freshmen have to take on crack. No, I'm kidding. This class, the reason why it has that little subtitle is because it is a class specifically for tisch students, so only tisch students were in my class. Lots of acting majors, film majors, music majors, stuff like that. So only tisch people are in your class, and the class is a little bit more focused on art, like very general, but just art in general. So yeah, basically our writing, we have to write about art, I guess, or write from an artist's perspective, something like that. For this class, we had to write 3 essays. For each essay was worth 30% and then 10% for participation. So definitely going into it, I was like really nervous, because I was like, I've never had a class where like one essay is like 30% of the class. But you know what, we got through it. We made it. As it went on, it got easier. So I think the thing with this class is there was a lot of homework assignments. Ironically, they weren't necessarily graded. It was basically graded on completion. But yeah, there were a lot of homework assignments, unfortunately. Yeah, this class, we just basically learned about how to formulate our own ideas and how to connect very different things, like very different things. So yeah, honestly, in the process, I was like very like writing the essay, but looking back on it, I feel like I learned a lot, and you know, it's helped me learn a lot. Oh my gosh, why am I like this? So if I had to rate this class in terms of difficulty, 5 being the hardest and 0 being the easiest, I would give it a 4. It was very time consuming, and it was like, I feel like it was time consuming for me just because I take a long time to write essays in general, and like just coming up with like a very original and good idea, and like, you know, continuing it, developing it throughout the essay, that was hard. But you know what, I learned a lot. I'm glad I took it. But I didn't have a choice. But yeah, so the next class I took was microeconomics. This class I just took as a gen ed. We get to choose one gen ed every semester, so I took this. This class is pretty self-explanatory. Intro to microeconomics. Just learning the basics of, you know, kind of how the world works, how businesses work on a very basic level. But I thought this class was like super interesting, and I could definitely see myself taking an economics class again in the future. I feel like I put a lot of work into it. Like, I always read the chapters, I copied like every single note, I studied a lot. So I think it was definitely just like, if you put in the work for it, like the content is not that hard, but if you just put in the work and do it and memorize it, then it's like you'll get a good result. So yeah, on a scale of difficulty, I would say this class is probably a 3 out of 5. Actually, hold on, the final exam was like really hard. Maybe a 3.5 out of 5. So the next classes I'm gonna say are actually film major specific classes. Those were not film specific classes, but these ones are. So the first one is sound image. So sound image is a sound production class. It's once a week. It's 6 hours. You do get an hour lunch break, but it is 6 hours. You know, that is like 5 hours in class. In this class, we basically learned the fundamental of sounds. Like, we kind of went over like actually like stuff I remember from physics, like sound waves and all that stuff. But yeah, we went over that, and then really in the beginning half of the class we would learn how to use Pro Tools, which is an sound editing software that's like industry standard. So we learned how to use that. By no means am I an expert on this software. I can locate the record button, amongst other things. But yeah, going into this, I was like, I didn't know we had to like, I was like, we have to do like technology, like, I didn't sign up for that. But honestly, it was not that bad. After weeks of using it, you definitely get the hang of it, and you have to in order to do your homework assignments. So I think everyone learns with a sufficient amount of knowledge in Pro Tools. But for this class, basically how it worked, every week we had a homework, or almost every week, not always every week, almost every week we had an assignment that had to do with sound. So maybe it was to make a sound project that only used vocals, no other types of sounds, or add sound to a silent film. That was actually one of my favorite projects that we did. We had little prompts that were like, that allowed us a lot of creativity, so you could like go in a lot of different directions with how you wanted to make your assignment. And then also the next week in class, we would all present the assignments in class, which was like definitely a motivator, because I was like, I don't want to like present something like bad, you know what I mean? So that definitely motivated me to like, you know, work hard as well as to get good grades. In terms of amount of time spent on this class, you know, it's really just like, you can put in what you want. You can put in like not that many hours, like 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, and get like a decent grade. But also you could put in like a lot of time and also get a decent grade. So I feel like I did spend a sufficient amount of time on projects, because just the technology aspect of it, like I was like, oh my gosh, like how do you do this, that, this, like I was trying to remember everything he said in class and I like didn't remember it. One time I like recorded all this stuff for my project, like everything, recorded it, and I thought it was on my hard drive, and it wasn't. That was cute. In terms of difficulty, I would give this class a 3.5 out of 5. So the next class I took was Storytelling Strategies. This is basically a script writing class. So in the beginning we just learned like the fundamentals, like bare bones of script writing, which is essentially formatting, like, you know, how to do headings and stuff like that. So learn the basics of that, which was really good, because even though it's like the basics, like I didn't know that at all. Like I had never used a script writing software before. So that was good. And another thing with all these classes, they assume that you're going in with like zero knowledge. You don't have to have any prior knowledge to like be in this major or take these classes or whatever. So I definitely wouldn't be worried about that. And then also in this class, what we did, we had a lecture and a recitation. A lecture is just a bigger class in a bigger room, and a recitation is just a smaller class, like about 13-ish people. So for our lectures, literally what we did, every single lecture, we just watched a movie. It was like honestly great. We watched like some really good films, and yeah, that teacher just introduced me to so many good movies, so I'm really happy about that. And then during the recitation, we would present our homework assignment for the week, which was a script. We would get a prompt about something. It was usually like, you know, pretty open-ended, like you could do a lot of things with the prompt. So yeah, and then in class we would just present them, which was kind of nerve-wracking, and kind of like every time I was writing I was like, I hope this like comes across how I want it to come across, or like I hope this is like actually funny and not just like in my head. So it, you know, it was kind of nerve-wracking, but I also think it kind of forced you, you know, to do a better quality of work. And even though I was like, I really did not want to present my stuff in the beginning, because I was like, oh, that's scary. But honestly, if there's any time to like present work, and even if it's bad or not your best, it's honestly in school. So this class I really enjoyed. It was always like a fun class for me. I felt very engaged with it. I would say on a scale of difficulty, I'd probably give this class also a 3.5 out of 5. And honestly, this was probably even though I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5, it's probably one of my easier classes in terms of workload. But I think that when we did have work to do, it was like more pressure just because it was like less work graded, so it was like it counted more, I guess. Actually, that's another thing about this class. I did not know my grade until the final grades came out. I guess that's like in general with college though, you don't really know your grades, but like I had no idea what I had in this class, like ever. So that was a thing. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed storytelling strategies. And then the 5th and final class that I took last semester was called performance strategies. So this was basically the same structure as storytelling strategies, where there was a lecture and a recitation. But basically in this class was an acting and directing class. So we learned about actors and their process and how to act somewhat a little bit. And we learned about directing, and the main thing we learned was non-result direction. Non-result directing is basically just like when you want an actor to portray a certain emotion, don't say be sad or don't say cry. Like you kind of have to go more into it with them and into the character. During the lecture we did a lot of different things. Sometimes we watched movies, sometimes our teacher would just lecture to us, sometimes we like did acting stuff. So it just kind of depended on the day. I would say this class was like honestly pretty boring to me in the beginning, but as we went on it got more interesting in my opinion. We did like some cool stuff with casting. We did a lot of stuff with like script analysis, like identifying beats and actions and stuff like that. And then in the recitation was pretty hands-on. We did a lot of acting exercises, and we also did a lot of directing. So we would have classmates be the actors and then we would direct them, which was really cool. Something about this class is actually it's a pass-fail class, but so like it's like actually pretty easy. Like it's not hard to fail. Like if you just do the homework you will pass, you know. So I would say in terms of difficulty this class was probably like a 2, because like it was pass fail. So those are the classes I took last semester. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you more information about these classes. And if you still have any more questions, leave them down below. Definitely let me know if you have any more video requests, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye! This is my second time recording it because I looked ugly in the first one. I probably still do. Oh well.